Today I'm going to be showing you the process of making one of my butter dishes. Starting off here with the base, I use about 500 grams of clay, and then I will cone and compress. Once we've opened up this form, we just pull up a small lip and then clean up around the form. So the lid I'm currently making with about 800 grams of clay. It's a little more than is needed, but you can always take away, you can't add. Again, we're going to compress, and once we have the right diameter, then we'll open up the form again. Once I have it to the size that I like, then I'll begin to pull the walls. Unfortunately, due to an autofocus error, I don't have any footage of the walls being pulled. So we'll move on to the coloring and the finer adjusting of the shape. Once we've cleaned off all the slip, I measure the height that I want the butter dish lid to be at, and then I'll just use a needle tool to cut off the extra there. Using a sponge, I'll clean off the lip. Using a damp sponge, I will wet the wheel and the lip of the base. This will cause a nice tight seal onto the wheel, and it'll keep it actually centered. These were a little bit drier than I had wanted to trim originally, so we just use a damp sponge to soften up the exterior of the clay that I'm going to be trimming. Once we're finished with the base, we can work on the exterior of the top surface here. So we'll just touch up that outer edge and the lip. I'll then add my maker's mark, and it's off to the lid of the butter dish. The lid was a little too dry for the damp sponge, so we just went off with the classic 3 lumps of clay here. Once I've tidied everything up and taken off a little bit of weight, we can head into making the handle for the lid. That process starts by scoring the center with a small needle tool, and then we will wet the scored area and add a small lump of clay that I usually just eyeball. Once we've got the piece stuck on nicely, we'll actually cone it up and down to get a nice consistency from the little lump on top there. It's quite a finicky little process here, so try and make very small, delicate movements as to not cause too many wobbles. Once I've got the shape that I like, I will clean it up with a sponge and a rib, and then I'll use my fingers to just soften the corners so we don't have anything sharp once it's dried out. And that is the throwing and trimming process of the butter dish. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care now.